Rado, first things first, could you give us an insight into the health and fitness of your squad coming into this weekend? Do you have everybody available for selection? Any injury concerns?
Yeah, it's an interesting question. We got only bare minimum to travel, so we got few injuries. We got a couple corona cases, and one obviously with Matilda's. So we are down to 16 healthy players, which is okay. We got enough, yeah. So we just hope that everyone will be negative on rapid test tomorrow morning, and that we can head off to Brisbane.
The players that have contracted COVID, are they all feeling well, or relatively well, or asymptomatic and are just recovering?
Yeah, one is feeling really well. The other one has just been tested positive. We got result this morning, so we still don't know. I mean, she's feeling sick, but that's first few days. So hopefully in the next 2 or 3 days she's going to be okay. And yeah, so fingers crossed that no one else is infected, and that we can go and play our game in Brisbane.
In terms of the players that are injured, I mean, are you expecting to miss any of your biggest names through injury, or who are some of the injured players?
No, we're not going to miss anyone. We're going to miss the players that have been missing so far. So it's not. Okay. We are not going to be too depleted. Yeah, I don't want to say who they are, but we are not going to miss anyone that has been playing for us so far.
In terms of last week, you came up against Sydney FC. Disappointing result for your side in that one. What were some of the lessons that you've taken from that game?
Look, I hate to take lessons when we are losing. I would rather take lessons when we are winning. But unfortunately, every here and there, you need to take some lessons from losing. I think it just came down to, they wanted it more. They managed to put their game on top of us, so we had to play their game. We were not capable of stopping them playing their game, and on the other side, we did not play our game. So they managed to stop us playing our game, and we did not stop them playing their game. I think it just came down to, like, especially the first half, the effort, the intensity, the attitude. We were second best in those three aspects, and that's our quality. That's what we are known for, blue collar team, and work hard, and unfortunately we were just not in the races. We reacted a little bit better second half, but goal was disallowed from for the corner, and then just we didn't mark one player. Got 1-1 with the goalkeeper from set pieces, and that is disappointing because it has nothing to do with anything, fatigue or anything like that. Just do your job and don't let her get away from you. But they're a good team. They are full of confidence, as we spoke about before the game, and they applied their principles to a T, and we just didn't apply our principles. So the good thing is we play them again, so we will get another chance for revenge, if that's the right word.
And in terms of this week. And in terms of this weekend's Brisbane Roar, heading up there to your stomping grounds a lot of the time in Queensland, what do you need to do to get a win over Brisbane?
Well, I think we just need to go back to how we played up to Sydney game, being relentless, being dominant, and I think the girls, obviously, as you said, it was a good lesson for us, and I'm quite sure that we are going to get at least that side of the game right, and we're going to give Brisbane a good game on the weekend.
Just when you're Rado talking about you didn't quite start the way that you wanted against Sydney, and particularly the first half weren't able to play your game, how much of that do you put down to, I guess, the challenges of interstate travel, the challenges of squad rotation, of having young players who maybe haven't played earlier in the season being relied on more? Is that making that kind of thing more difficult?
Look, it's down to individuals. You know, I think we've got quite a few experienced players. You know, when you look at, you know, maybe our and their roster, we had more experienced players than them. You know, a lot of their players are young players. You know, maybe played 1 or 2 seasons. We had several players, you know, international players. So from experience point of view, you know, I think we should have been better than them. But then again, you know, the bounce of the ball, you know, the reactions and all those other little things that everyone need to complement each other. I don't think that worked in first half. There were a lot of unforced errors, a lot of missed passing. And I'm not saying that they were perfect, you know. They didn't really create much other than, you know, those through balls, and they got good opportunities to score goals. We had 1-on-1 with the goalkeeper. She made a save, and, you know, that was maybe turning point from us going 1-0 up, which maybe then the game would be a little bit different. But yeah, it was just, you know, I hope it was one-off, and that we're not going to have any games like that again.
So it doesn't sound like you're concerned about any of the kind of structural or the ways that your team's having to make up for the loss of a player like Holly McNamara and having to move Stoddy out of midfield. You don't feel like those are problems. You feel like it was more of an intensity and energy thing?
Absolutely. I think as I said, we got more than enough experienced players to cover for Holly. As I said, you know, earlier, they do bring some different qualities. That maybe Holly is bringing one quality. These other players bring something else. You know, as I said, like Stoddy, she had 1-on-1 with the goalkeeper. So it's not that we were missing someone who's going to get in those situations. We managed to get in one of those situations. Unfortunately, we did not score. So, you know, initially our pressing was good. Our transition game was good. We won a lot of balls in you know, from losing it to winning it back in 5-6 seconds. You know, so all that was okay. But, you know, we just didn't. We were not intensive in our attack. We did not make enough forward runs. We did not play enough forward balls, and I think that was the main reason why we did not ask them more questions when it came to defensive side of it.
So because obviously moving Rebecca Stott out of midfield, she's been so instrumental in kind of your transition play and bringing the ball forward and pushing her further up. So you're relying on a really young pairing of Darcy and Leah Davidson to make that work. And I think we saw Leah kind of push higher up in the second half. She looked like she was pushing further forward, as were the rest of your team. Are we likely to see Leah play kind of in that more advanced role to kind of give you that more, I guess, direct or forward passing play?
Probably not. I think she's one of our fittest players, so she can make forward runs and she's running all the time. So basically, she is that number 8, typical number 8 who can, you know, run forward, cover at the back. She wins a lot of duels, and she's that attack breaker for us. So I don't really want to lose her in a more forward position, although she does have license to go forward and help us when it's needed. And, you know, with the number of, we got only 3 at the back when we're attacking, so we need that little bit of more safety in that midfield that you know, hopefully we'll be using better in future.
You mentioned last week that the battle in midfield was going to be incredibly key, and on the surface, it looked like it was very even in the middle of the park. As how disappointing is it knowing that your side kind of did everything right, but just wasn't able to get the ball out of the middle of the park?
Well, yeah, that's the thing. You know, we didn't have enough forward runs. And then if you don't have a forward run, you don't play ball behind opponents. And I think that was the problem. Like Sydney FC, they mainly played those forward balls over top of us, and they had a lot of forward runs. So, you know, although we kind of pride ourselves on similar type of game, we didn't play our game, and they played they played their game, as I said, much better than what we did play our game. So hopefully we have addressed that, and hopefully we are in the future we're going to be more determined to make those forward runs, which gives you opportunity to play ball for the runners, or just to drive the ball and occupy the space by driving the ball into the space.
The team was able to come out firing after half-time. You obviously had that disallowed goal. How much did Rachel Lowe's goal just before half-time change the way you approach the team talk at half-time? And obviously your team responded well to whatever happened at half-time, but how much did that goal change the way you went into the half-time break?
Hasn't changed anything, because we didn't play our game basically the whole first half. So it didn't really matter to me if it's 0-0 or if it was 2-0. I think that the team talk would be exactly the same, and as I said, they responded quite well to that, but we just couldn't score a goal. I mean, the goal that we scored was probably this was disallowed. I didn't really see, didn't have a good look at it, but I think it was probably the right decision. And we just didn't really create too many more opportunities to score a goal.
Sally James came on towards the end. She's got about 10 minutes. How well did she pull up?
Excellent, yeah, excellent. So she was one of these players that had been really affected throughout the whole season so far. First with a fracture of her thumb, and then obviously with COVID. She's someone who had a little bit harder time to bounce back from her illness, but now she's okay. She's still not 100%, but we just want to expose her as much as possible, and give her as much game time as we can.
So I'm guessing that means I'm guessing that means Barbieri still starts again on Saturday against Brisbane?
Yes, of course.
7 points is obviously now the gap at the top. How confident are you that your side can track down Sydney, or that Sydney will slip up, or at this point is it just simply about making sure that you keep second spots, that you get a home final in week 1?
Look, before the season, a lot of experts put us to finish 8th. So where we are now, I think we have surprised everyone. And where we're going to finish, we'll see. We obviously want to win as many games as we can. But do we want to win the league? I don't think that anyone can win the league. It's up to Sydney to lose the league. I'm 100% sure that Melbourne Victory will have a good go at them, and then we're going to have a good go at them, once we meet them. But you can see that, when they play against these other teams, they are so much better than anyone that I don't see them losing too many games from now until the end of the season.
Probably time for 1 or 2 more, guys.
Yep. Last one from me. You mentioned pre-season surprises. Obviously, you head up to pre-season predictions, I should say. The side heads up to Brisbane. It's already been mentioned. A lot of people had them picked to still finish, in or near the top, and they've only had the 2 wins this season. I guess, obviously, you mentioned earlier, you still want to play, your team's brand of football, but is this kind of like a trap game? Do you expect Brisbane to present more challenges?
Absolutely. I mean, I watched them live here in Melbourne against Melbourne Victory, and at that moment you would put a house, bet your house that Melbourne Victory is going to win that game, and they copped 4 goals. So they do have some good players. Larissa, she's doing really well at the moment, and she's doing really well up front. They got a solid back line. They got a good goalkeeper, and then you got Minnie. She's Matilda. She's a fantastic player. Asian Player of the Year a few years ago. So, and you can see she can command that midfield. She can score goals from long distance. So it is not going to be an easy game, for sure. But if we can dominate the game the way we would like to dominate, then I think it's going to be maybe easier to win it.